What is going on, everybody? It's your buddy Dave with the Nissan Nation podcast, and here we are on YouTube, and we are about to do our review of our 2017 Nissan Titan. This is a non-XD Titan, so it's just the basic plain Jane, but it is a Pro4x Titan, so that includes a few goodies that your SVs or SLs don't include. This has been an amazing truck for us. We've done all kinds of things with this, from family trips. We haul our 2000 Nissan Xterra to off-road events with it. We've picked up furniture, we've hauled mulch, whatever you would actually need a truck for, we've actually done with this thing. It's not just sit in the driveway and look cool. It's a practical vehicle for us, and let's get on into this thing. So, March 17, we brought this baby home. We had a what was a 2012 Nissan Frontier. We knew we were going to need something to kind of take our toys around, and we needed a little bit bigger vehicle, and this thing fit the bill. In 16, they came out with this body style. It seems to be hit or miss for people, but we really liked it. It resembles a little bit of every brand a little bit. I think there's a little bit of Fordness, I think there's a little bit of Dodgeness, and hopefully there's no Chevy in this thing. That's all I'm going to say. So this thing has a 5.6 liter endurance V8 engine, and what does that mean? That means 390 horsepower and a lot of torque. The game now seems to be horsepower for whatever vehicles that you have, and Nissan did an outstanding job with this thing. It's direct injected. It averages fairly good MPGs for a truck. It is sort of a box. Every truck now seems to be a big flat end box that's cutting through the wind, but we do pretty good on trips on this thing. We'll get into that a little later, but let's just get into the styling of this vehicle. So, I forget what color black they call this. There's some fancy name for it, but guess what, guys? It's a metal flake black. It's a black with a gray trim. I am not a big fan of two-tone vehicles. The family seems to love this vehicle, but if it were me, I would just done a solid black color. But it is what it is. In the Pro4x package, they do these trims with the extra the fender flares. They do tow hooks in the front. They do a locker in the rear, and it's just it's a beast of a truck. Let's get into the styling of this thing a little deeper. Alright, so for the Pro4x package, they do a couple things. You get these special rims, these two-tone rims, which I do really like. They come with a General Grabber APT tire. And you're getting about an inch more suspension on this thing. Ride quality of these tires have been excellent. I'm not a fan of these tires by any means. I'm generally a BF Goodrich kind of guy, but they're quiet on the road and they're practical. The only thing that bums me out about these tires is they do not fit an off-road look of a vehicle. These are very the sidewalls of these things, I don't know, it's very kind of grandpa-y, I would say. It just doesn't, if you're going to do an off-road vehicle, it just doesn't seem to match the rest of the vehicle for it. But performance of the tires have been excellent. I know a lot of people that when they buy trucks like this, they take it right to the tire store and they have their way with it that way. But since this was a lease, we did not want to change anything about it. As you can see, some of the lettering, we did not curb this thing, and some of the lettering on all the tires is just, I don't know, they just kind of seem cheap, and like I said, just peeling off. Is that Nissan's fault? Probably not, because they didn't build this tire, but they're putting this tire on their vehicle. So it would be a one ding against this truck in this. I know they're currently putting these on the 2019 still. I would like to think when they redo this, maybe next year, that they would upgrade the tires just a little bit more, but it is what it is. You can see the sweet fender flares on this. They do fit the truck a little bit well. They kind of give it a little bit of an off-road look without being, big and bulky and kind of in the way. The thing also I do not like about this vehicle is this big chrome V8 badge. I get why they do it, because they're building the XDs, and the XDs have this big badge, but this just, if there was one thing that would have probably stopped me from buying this, it would be this little plastic piece. A $53,000 truck, and this was going to almost stop me from buying it. I'm not a big chrome guy anyways, but I just really feel like this takes away from the fender flares. Also, it's a V8, we know it. The 19s now, they've moved that and they've put it down here on the badging, and this is all just fender, but for the 17 and 16s, it was just kind of silly to me. On the XDs, I know there's a Cummins sign here. It makes sense to brand it Cummins, you want to sell that, but on these non-XDs, this just didn't do anything for me. And if I could have ever blacked this out, I would have, just because it just wasn't my thing. Let's get to the side of this thing. All right, so on the side of this thing, being a Pro4x model, they went nuts with the badging. If you're gonna pay $53,000 for a truck, you gotta spend the money and say what it is, right? The Gen 1 of this truck, I love the badging they did on it. The way they did the White Pro, the Yellow 4, and the X. This is a little more conservative for me. The textile of it is okay. I know you gotta modern it up a little bit. I still would have liked to seen the Yellow 4 on this. I think it was just a little more youthful. I'm not gonna complain about a sticker because it is what it is, and I do actually like it on there. Once again, you can see the general tires. You can see they're just peeling off for some unknown reason. I've never brought it up to Nissan because it's a tire. They're just going to say it's just wear and tear of the vehicle. Now to the back of this thing, you got these big bold styling taillights, much like the front. They just kind of make a statement, which is what you want in a vehicle. But I'm 5'8", and these vehicles are getting super, super tall anymore. So when I need to get in the back of this thing, it's kind of ridiculous. Well, this one, it was part of the package, of the tow package, I believe, but it got the step. So you hop on the step, bounce up, and you're in your truck, which is super, super handy. It's not a feature that I probably would have normally went after, but once you have it, you love it. Also, the tailgate of this thing, I love this. Just bam, it's quiet, it's down, and it does what it's supposed to. It's not a heavy tailgate, so if you're sitting there lifting it, it's not like the old trucks where they just felt like 1,000 pounds, where this one, once again, just bam, bam, and it's down. You gotta love that. Super practical. Nissan did well with the trim of the bumper, matching the rest of it. The styling of the badges and everything is super great. The plastic that's on top of the bumper has been super tough. We've abused this, and it doesn't show it no wear or tear at all. Let's go to the back of this vehicle and see what's in the back. All right, so you hop up in the back of this thing, and what do you see? You see a big mess in here. It's because this is a real review of a vehicle. This isn't something that is just a showroom car that we went and grabbed. We actually use this vehicle for the intended purposes. It's a truck. So you got your garden rake in here. You got a chair for softball, a couple chairs. You got tow straps in here, and you've got mulch. You know, this is why people want a truck, is to actually use this, and for practical reasons. And you know, you don't want to throw mulch inside the vehicle, right? You want it to be in the back of the vehicle. So let's go into a couple features. Nissan has the utility track system. It's on the bottom. They've got two on the bottom, backs, and the sides. Nissan really developed this. There was nobody else doing this, and when the Frontier and the last Titan came out, this was something new that they were doing. And I really, really like it. For when you need to secure something back here, it's super nice. These straps, or these brackets, when you want them out, you can take them out real easy. If you need to adjust them, change your load from someplace, just turn it, spin it a little bit, and bam, now you've got a nice secure tow point if you need to strap something. Or not tow point, if you just need to strap something down, your cargo's not going anywhere. I really, really like this feature. It comes with 4 of these little blocks, and they've been super handy anytime we've had something back here. Spray and bed liner on this thing, I can't say enough about this. The Pro4x comes with this. Now, I know not all Nissan Titans do, but this particular model does, and it's excellent. I've seen some of the other brands have spray and bed liners, and it chips up real easy. We've abused this vehicle, and you can't tell other than just looking dirty. Another feature in the back, they've got the plug back here, so if you've got your inverter turned on inside the cab, you've got power back here. Been super, super handy. A couple things we don't like back here is, and we're going to get into the front of this vehicle a little bit, is the paint. So we had this vehicle for a couple months. Like you know, it's a truck, you're going to throw things back here, and guess what? We put some wood chairs back here, and wouldn't you know it, it took a chip out of the paint. And when you feel this, you would think, oh, I feel a deep chip out of there. No, you don't feel a ton of paint. Nissan did real great on putting plastic on the top of the bed. Why they didn't put it back here, I don't know. It's probably just me being a little bit nitpicky, and it's the back of a truck, so it's going to get, you know, it's going to get used a little bit and abused, but it's kind of a bummer that it happened. So the back of this vehicle, as you can see, there's lots and lots of room. I'm 5'8", so I'm not what you would call a super tall guy, but this seat is in about the middle position in the front, and there's a good foot of leg room in between here. Sitting position, super nice. These are all leather seats, so they're the zero gravity seats, so it's super comfortable. There's I would say firm, but still soft, if that makes any sense. On the inside, you've got all kinds of storage area, practical. You've got cup holders everywhere. On the inside, you've got cup holders in the center. These are heated seats, which is super nice. So you've got your switches right here. Just bam, turn the heat on, turn it off. You've got low. You also have a plug back here for your inverter. So if I know on trips we've had a little plug-in refrigerator, the little coolers that you can do. We've used that. It's been real handy. Cup holders here. So if you like drinks and you own a Titan or want to buy a Titan, you got a place to store everything. But let's go up front and let's check this out. So the front of this thing, once again, like I said, the seats hadn't moved, so there's a good foot of space here in between me. You got your nice glove box, nice leather wrapped plastics on here, so they're super cleanable. The center console, I do like the styling. I will say that this nickel looking stuff has nicked up just a little bit. I'm by no means easy on a vehicle, so I chalk some of that up to just me being a little rough on vehicles. But overall, the seating position's real nice. It's electric seats on the Pro4x, so you can adjust them how you need to. Big console here. You've got your cup holders that pop out, and you can adjust them anywhere you want. If you don't want that cup holder in there, Lord knows you got enough cup holders in this thing. On the interior, the one bummer that I do not like about this truck is this kind of silvery carbon fiber looking trim right here. It's here and it's on the other side. It's the only place you're going to see it in the truck, but it just doesn't seem to fit. It sort of stands out as like an afterthought. I mean, you've got these chrome trim around the AC vents, and then you've got this nickel look, and then you've just got this, I don't know, it doesn't flow to me. It's just being nitpicky once again. Would it stop me from buying this vehicle again? No, but it's something that I have. It does stand out to me as, you're driving around, you're kind of looking at your vehicle you love, and you're like, hey, that's kind of odd. But let's see, you've got aux ports there, you've got an aux port here, you've got one USB plug that's been it's been nice. It's a trickle charger, so don't expect it to fill that iPhone up real fast, but it gets the job done. And if you're using an iPhone or Android, you can run your stuff through the radio, which is real nice. One thing we've had an issue with this vehicle is the AC unit. This is a dual climate vehicle, so which means this side can have their own temperature versus the driver's side, which is super nice. If you think 15 years ago or so, this was the only feature in high-end vehicles, so they brought it to the trucks, which is super nice, and we really like that. Now, that being said, there is a relay issue in these things. They tend to, about a year in, the relay goes out, and so either this side can get cool and that side can't, or vice versa. So there's no rhyme to the reason which side it goes out on, but it will go out. We took it to our Nissan dealership. They had to get the part. It took about 2 weeks because it was on back order. Popped it in, no problem. We're good to go. It did happen in the summertime though, so I will say I was a little annoyed driving and kind of heat blowing on you. And the person over here's got all the cool air, and you're kind of like, hey, send this air my way. Anyways, leather, the stitching is super nice. Once again, this is something you would see in a high-end vehicle 15 years ago. Lamborghini and all them do this kind of stuff. It really, for $53,000 truck, man, there's a lot of nice features in this that you may not expect. You may not see in some of the competitors. This particular one has the Rockford Fosgate audio system, 7-inch touchscreen. You can go through all your apps. Pretty basic. If you have a radio anymore in a car, you kind of know what's going on with it. Controls up here for your heating and cooled seats. Once again, all the plastics and everything have held up really well. We're by no means easy on vehicles, so I've been very surprised how well, for 2 years ownership and all the things we do with this vehicle, that it's really held up nicely. So let's go to the front of the truck and talk about what I do and don't like there. When you got a big, bold, in-your-face design like this, big flat, you expect a few rock chips, right? I mean, you got this big flat area. The plastic on the front of this thing is holding up great. I've got no complaints about it, but what I do have complaints about is the paint job on this vehicle. If there was one thing I could ding Nissan for, is the paint of this vehicle. You can see the road rash just everywhere, all through here. I've taken it to my local Nissan dealership, and they're like, well, that's just normal wear and tear of a vehicle. And I was like, yeah, but this was 3 weeks in this stuff started happening. I don't understand it. You can feel the chips. They don't feel deep, but that's the primer that you're seeing under there. And there are some slight highway use to this vehicle, but when you start looking at all the chips everywhere, this isn't normal. And then what's really not normal is when you go to the side of the vehicle, look, there's chips there. You start finding them on the side of the vehicle. Obviously that's just a little door rash from somebody, but look, right here, bam, bam, bam. It's all over the side of the vehicle. And normally I would say that's just on the hood, you know, that's just how it is. But this is something that needs to be corrected by the manufacturing process, whether it be just a slightly better clear coat or something. This needs to be looked at, and if I'm going to have to ding this vehicle in a scale of 1 to 10, this is going to take a pretty hard ding on it, because it's a $53,000 truck and it shouldn't look like that within 2 years. So you hop in this big bad boy, and first of all, the seats are amazing. I know I said it earlier, but the zero gravity seats in this are some of the nicest seats I've ever sat in any vehicle. For what I don't like on the outside styling, the little nitpicky stuff, the inside of this vehicle makes up in major ways. Leather steering wheel, leather dash, all the features. Like I said, the plastic on this is real easy to clean up, but it does have the leather on the sides. The console everything is super. Just when you're in your driving position, everything is just so handy. Now there are a couple things I will talk about. I see this in every manufacturer. They love putting chrome around the air vents, but what bothers me about that is when you're driving on a sunny day and that chrome is shining right in your eyes. Manufacturers, I don't care who you are, stop doing that. I know this is probably just a pretty sales feature to get people to go, ooh, look how chrome and shiny it is. But when you own the vehicle and you're driving it in the summertime especially, it's in your eyes, and it's just annoying. And it just seems to be right here. The chrome in the center never bothers me too bad, but it is what it is. The steering wheel, all your features are just right by your thumb. So you got your audio sources up and down, change channels. You've got your volume, your phone. You've got your cruise control over here. Daytime running lights. If you don't want them, you just bam, put them on. They're on. Let's see, you've got your fog lights. This is where you turn on for the inverter. Just bam. Now you got inverter. This is your locker button, so when you're in four-wheel low, you can engage that and both rear wheels are turning, so if you just need a little bit of extra traction. This has downhill assist, which I've never used, but I've had no reason in a full-size truck to use this. One thing I do like when you're towing with this vehicle, because it does have a tow package, you can adjust the headlights. So if you've got a lot of weight on the back of the vehicle and it's at nighttime and you're driving, anybody that's driving next to you, you're kind of blinded. But you can actually tilt the lights down to not do that and make you see the road better. I really like that feature. You don't see that enough in full-size vehicles. Also, let's see, you got your normal vanity lights or mirrors with the light. Super nice having a light. A lot of times they don't include that. You've got your sunglasses. Your controls up here for the rear glass. You got your Nissan Connect SOS, so if you're having problems, you just bam, hit that, and as long as you're paying for the service, you're good to go. 7-inch touchscreen, like I said. You got satellite radio. Everything about that has worked great. I've never had satellite radio till this vehicle, and I fell in love with it, and almost can't live without it now. So thanks Nissan for selling me on XM Sirius satellite radio. The gauge clusters, everything is right where you expect it to be. So as we cruise along about 45 miles an hour, you can tell, like, very smooth ride. We've got 27,000 on this truck, so I would say the suspension's just really broke in. Handles great. I'd heard some things on the XDs where the 16s had some tracking issues. This one, 17 non-XD, drives perfectly fine. I've taken this thing on pretty long trips. We went to Ohio, we averaged about 20 miles per gallon in at 21, somewhere in there. Which for a full-size vehicle, I don't think is very bad. Now I know this thing's not, it's rated 20, 21, something like that on the highway. So I probably maxed out whatever it could do, but we had 3 people in here, did great. We just enjoyed this vehicle a lot. With a V8, of course, V8s sort of seem like a dying thing anymore. in your everyday cars, I guess. But for a V8, the fun of it is getting into it, right? And hearing this engine purr. So let's do that. I love that sound. The only ticket my wife has gotten in probably 10 years was in this vehicle, and it's that sound. I've had many V8s through the years, but this is my wife's first big V8 she gets to drive daily, and the officer actually let her go. And he asked, how do you like the new Titan? And she was like, I mean, clearly, you just caught me speeding. I love it. But out on these country roads, man, you're gonna have there's some bumps, some old rough pavement and stuff. This truck drives great. I cannot say enough for it. Or about it. It just, handles smooth. And this being a Pro4x, obviously it's got just a little bit better suspension. It's got the Bilstein suspension coil or shocks under it. They perform great. I've had this thing a little bit off-road. I wouldn't say that I didn't buy this vehicle for an off-road beast, but it handles well. And what little bit I've done to it, the four-wheel drive system in the snow especially chews it up. We actually do get a little snow here in Middle Tennessee, so had to test it out, right? But I cannot say enough for the system. And four-wheel drive, I hate to say anymore, is four-wheel drive. There's, I know Jeep would probably disagree with us on that one, but works great. Does what it's supposed to. You can crank it down and crank it to 4 high, and we're all tractions go. Good to go. But here's the corners of this thing. It actually corners well. As we take it through here, I think people are amazed that, for one, that Nissan builds a full-size truck, because not a lot of people know about them, and two, that they have such a big hardy V8. Nearly 400 horsepower, 390 horsepower in this thing, man, is anymore is ridiculous. I remember the 200 horsepower barrier when Ford and Chevy were really going at it, and we'll never get there, never gonna get there, and now we're well past that. I know some of the other big boys are hitting 400. I really feel like Nissan is always ahead of the curve on their engines, and this engine in particular doesn't get enough credit. It's the 5.6 V8 Endurance. It's just smooth. Some of the other ones that I've drove, some of the other brands I've drove, great vehicles. You can't dog anybody's vehicle anymore, but this one just seems to be smooth, and I don't know if it's just a Japanese thing, the way they design their engines, because I remember in the 80s driving some of the American V6s, and they sounded clunky and just, I don't know, just weren't as smooth as the Japanese, and this one especially seems to be just no bones about it. It just purrs. And I know when we did the Titan Adventure in Wyoming, me and Danny did it, and Danny was blown away, because Danny was on the Cummins side. Danny wants one of these, and I kept telling him, like, Danny, the V8 is more than you need, man. This V8 is a rocket ship, and it's going to haul like crazy too, especially in the XD platform. And I think Danny, he's on the V8 team now, because, unless you're making a daily, you're pulling every day, I just don't see I don't see the benefit of having the diesel. The costs are so expensive to operate. The DEF is a pain in the butt anymore to have to fill that. Then you got to go through the regens and burn off all the excess. I think anymore, all the fanboys growing up, every fanboy wanted a diesel in their off-road vehicle or something, and I think anymore, that's all the restrictions now, that's completely gone the other way. I would rather have the gas engine. I think the torque is up there with it. I'm super happy. So this is our review of the 2017 Nissan Titan. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've enjoyed doing this for you. I I think this truck ultimately is a bargain in the segment. I think if you're not a fanboy of any particular brand, I think if you give Nissan a try, you'll see that it really is a bargain. Generally, you can get these full-size trucks a good $4,000 to $6,000 cheaper than the big three offerings. I think warranty alone on this vehicle blows the others away. It's a 5-year, 100,000 mile warranty on these trucks, which everybody else is a 3-year, 36,000 mile warranty. So if you plan on owning this truck for a long time, that in itself, I think makes this truck a steal. There's not a lot of known issues like I've covered. There's just a couple things I would change, like maybe a little bit better clear coat. And that's really about it. Ultimately, this Titan has been amazing for us, and I'm happy to have owned this vehicle, and I'm really happy for what's coming down the pipeline next. I can't tell you yet, but it's going to be really fun. It's going to be a fun build, so stay tuned for that. And from all things Nissan here in Middle Tennessee to parts unknown, wherever you're watching us here on YouTubeville, this is your Nissan Nation podcast. My name is David Boyd, and we're out. Peace, everybody. Love y'all.